Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're here, it's because you want to go deeper than the headlines, and today we are really giving you the operating system for the coming year.
Yeah, we're not just talking about calendar dates.
No. We are diving into what our sources call prophetic mechanics to unpack the entire architectural blueprint of the Hebrew year 5786.
And this is so key for you, the listener, because getting these spiritual coordinates, it's the shortcut to actually governing the next 12 months.
Right.
Our sources, they paint this picture of 2026 that's, well, it's way more complex than just another civil new year. Our mission today is to show you why January 1st, 2026 isn't a simple reset.
It's what you called a prophetic corridor.
Exactly, a prophetic corridor. There's that moment where two governments, man's calendar system and God's calendar, they overlap. And that's where heaven tests your alignment.
That's such a powerful way to frame it. It's like the Gregorian calendar is the local time, for business and schedules.
Right.
But the Hebrew calendar is the master clock, the one that controls navigation and destiny. So the big question we're answering is, why is following the timing of 56786 so crucial for the outcomes of 2026?
Well, because if you miss the master clock's timing, the speed that the civil year brings is just going to feel like you're being shaken apart.
Okay, let's start there. Let's start with the familiar. January 1st. On the Gregorian calendar, the world sees this as a total reset. New fiscal quarters, new contracts, new laws. It's the societal button for a clean slate.
And that psychological reset is, it's incredibly powerful in the natural, and this is a critical point from our sources. Biblically, January 1st is not a spiritual reset.
Not a covenantal turning point.
Not at all. Scripture sees it as a useful human accounting marker, a way for systems to mark time. But it's not a divine moment recognized by God.
So if the world hits this start over button, but the spiritual system just sees it as another day on the clock, how does that change our approach?
It changes absolutely everything because you're walking into an existing spiritual reality. You're not starting over.
You're just continuing.
You're continuing in the flow of 5786, specifically in the months of Tevet. And the numerical architecture of 5786, the 5786, that's the operational code for the environment you're walking into.
Okay, let's unpack those digits, but let's talk about the tension between them.
So 5 is grace, divine enablement. 7's completion, and importantly, spiritual maturity.
Okay.
8 is for new beginnings, the kind that break natural cycles.
Yeah.
And then the final digit, 6, is about man, responsibility, stewardship.
I see the tension right away. How does the 5 grace connect with the 6 responsibility? It sounds like the enablement isn't for, just sitting back and receiving.
Precisely. The sources are so clear on this. 5786 is the year where grace enables mature believers to steward new beginnings with more responsibility.
So this is not a year for childish faith.
Not at all. It's a year of accountability, custody, and governance. The new things God is releasing. They aren't just for fun. They're for you to manage, to sustain. You're shifting from being a receiver to a steward.
That really raises the stakes. It's less about passive waiting and more about active participation.
And that's perfectly captured by the final digit, 6, which really governs the whole year. It corresponds to the Hebrew letter Vav.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Tying a letter to an actual actionable mandate. What's the identity of Vav?
Physically, the Vav is shaped like a connector, a hook, or a nail.
A meal.
Yes. Think of the gold hooks, the vavim, in the tabernacle. And they were the connectors that fastened the curtains together, holding the whole sacred structure in place. They made sure the covering was secure, stable.
So the mandate for 2026 is establishment, security, holding things down.
Absolutely. The prophetic mandate is fierce. 2026 is the year of connection and establishment. Whatever was revealed to you last year, the vision, the word you got, now it has to be nailed down into reality.
Just stop building air castles.
Exactly. If last year was about seeing the vision, this year is about securing the infrastructure.
So we need to stop chasing new exploration and just focus on stabilizing.
That is the command.
Yeah.
Stabilize and secure what God already spoke. And this comes with a really powerful warning. The sources call it the pressure test.
The pressure test. Okay, how does that actually show up in someone's life?
Well, think about it. If you try to hammer a nail into soft, sandy material, what happens?
It won't hold. It'll pull right out under any tension.
Right. The pressure test of 5786 will expose every sandy foundation in your life, inconsistent discipline, unfinished projects, a lack of character, or just speaking promises without doing the work.
Wow.
The pressure of the year will pull hard, loose ends will get pulled tight, unfinished assignments, They're going to be demanded.
That's such a practical application. It's not just what you believe, but what you've actually built. So if your finances or your relationships are shaky, the acceleration of 2026 will just make them fall apart faster.
The structure has to be sound. Things that were, kind of optional in the quiet years, like consistency, integrity, they become absolutely essential in 5786. God isn't asking, what potential did you see?
He's asking, what did you build with what I gave you?
Exactly that.
Now we've established the foundation needs to be nailed down. What about the atmosphere of the year? We're in the decade of Ein, which is sight, vision.
The 70s.
But the 8 in 5786 points us to the century marker of P, the mouth.
Right, the decade of the 80s, which is P. And this is where it gets intense. You have an active collision between Ein, what you see, and P, what you speak.
And why do they collide so hard in 2026?
The sources call it noise warfare. The year is going to amplify voices, both of faith and of fear. And the enemy's main goal in 2026 isn't to stop you from acting. It's to control what you say. If the world can get you to speak their panic, their fear, their language of reset, you basically surrender the authority the VAV gives you. The battle is one of articulation.
So if your eyes, the I, are looking at all the chaos, but your mouth, the peye, is trying to speak establishment, you create contradiction. You neutralize your own authority.
You've got it. The governmental law for 5786 is that many will lose ground not because of some big moral failure, but because of careless, chaotic speech. Heaven is watching mouths more than movements this year.
And that takes us right back to January, which is in the month of Tevet.
Right. And Tevet is a pressure month. The biggest mistake people make is reacting instantly to all the turbulence of the civil new year.
What should they be doing?
Tevet is a time of inner testing and endurance. The atmosphere is asking, can you govern yourself when the natural light is low? It exposes false confidence almost immediately.
So the strategy for January has to be about intentional control.
The Tevet strategy is to muzzle the soul. Just don't speak until your ayin, has seen the vav, the nail of God's word for that situation. Don't broadcast your fear. Silence your soul until your spirit has clarity.
That's powerful instruction.
And the governing rule is stark. What you decree in January sets the frequency for December. Govern the beginning, and you influence the end.
Okay, that brings us to maybe the heaviest aspect of this year. We've talked to letters, vavs, and peiki. Now let's talk about the number itself, 86.
Yes, the number 86 has tremendous prophetic weight because it shares the numerical value, the gematria, with the word Elohim.
Elohim, the name of God as creator and judge.
Leader and judge. Yeah.
Wow. So 2026 is literally carrying the weight of the creator judge. That explains why the sources all say the year will feel heavy.
It's not going to be a year of gentle breezes or, vibes.
No.
It's a year of decisive verdicts. We are moving past ambiguity. Structures will be tested, foundations will be judged, and systems that lack integrity will start to shake violently.
Right.
When Elohim shows up as judge, things get defined. Fast.
And if it's a verdict year, that must mean a major shift in authority, in leadership. The sources talk about a visible separation starting now.
They do. We're going to see a very clear separation between two kinds of people, platform builders and altar builders.
Okay, let's make that really practical for the listener. What's the difference between a platform builder and an altar builder?
A platform builder is looking for fame, visibility, applause. Their structure is built on personality, on trends, on the shifting sand of public opinion. And when the verdicts of 86 come, platforms shake.
An altar builder.
An altar builder seeks covenant, obedience, endurance. Their structure is built on truth, on quiet service, on commitment to the next generation. Altars endure. The pressure of 2026 will basically starve the performers and satisfy the custodians.
A custodian. What does it mean to be a custodian in this kind of environment?
A custodian carries responsibility without needing the credit. They manage timing. They protect what belongs to someone else, and they serve the future by choosing obedience over charisma. In 5786, authority isn't going to flow to the loudest voice. It's going to flow to those who have been faithful stewards of the small things.
And all of this is happening in an environment of what the sources call acceleration. A wind is coming.
Yes, but when we hear wind or acceleration, we think it's all good news. The sources give a huge warning here.
Which is?
The wind doesn't bring what you're lacking. It only multiplies what you've already prepared. So if you've been consistent, you'll accelerate beautifully. But if your life is scattered and unprepared, that acceleration will feel like destabilization, like punishment. Acceleration without alignment just leads to collapse.
That goes right back to the valve, the nail. It's not about your intentions, it's about your execution. Not what did you see, but what did you build with what you saw.
And that's where the final promise of the year lands.
Mm.
For those who honored the quiet years, who obeyed without applause, who nailed truth into their daily lives, for them, the promise is establishment and security inside the storm. God says, I will give you weight before I give you speed.
Security before visibility.
Exactly.
So we end on this fundamental contrast that defines the whole year. The world will be screaming for a reset, but the faithful should be seeking restoration.
This is the distinction you have to carry into January. A reset that just returns you to a broken starting point. You restart the cycle of failure.
But restoration.
Restoration returns you to the Father's original perfect intent. The world is trying to patch up broken systems. You are being invited to establish something that lasts. 2026 is a year of reinforcement, not reinvention.
A powerful idea to anchor us as we cross into the civil new year.
So, to summarize the architecture of 5786 real quick, the VAV, the 6, demands establishment. Security, the PAE, the 80, demands quiet, aligned speech that rejects the noise. And the weight of 86, Elohim, demands mature custodianship. Your measurement this year is stewardship.
This deep dive gives us, I think, the clearest governing declaration you need as you cross that January 1st threshold. If you internalize this, you can govern 2026 instead of just reacting to it.
The declaration you need to make is this. January 1st, 2026 is not my beginning. It is my alignment. I refuse the rush of men. I govern by the timing of God. I fasten revelation with obedience.
You are not late. You are aligning with the master clock. The focus for 2026 is reinforcement, not reinvention. Harness the wind, secure the nail, and govern your year.